Good morning, guys. This is Miss Rankin, and welcome to Art Starters. We're working with our principles of design, and today we are working on proportion. And proportion is basically the elements within an object, the relative size of parts as a whole, and they have to be in correct relative size to each other for things to make sense. And in science and in life, we are balanced, and there is a sense of proportion. And so what I'm going to show you guys is a very simple way to keep your body proportions if you were to draw a human structure or form. Basically, this is not going to be a finished drawing. This is what we call a drawing exercise. So the exercise is going to look like this when it's finished. It is one of the ways that we learn in art is by doing exercises, much like you would do exercises when you're working out or you're learning a new task. Okay, so we are learning today a new task of how to properly balance the weight and the structure in the human body. Now we're going to start with just a man's torso and continuous body from the front. We're going to break it into structural, different rectangular and square shapes, and we have some circles going on in there. And then we're also going to do a side view, and we're going to map it out by lines to show directly how that's going to work. And we're going to test our balance with getting the shape of the head. And I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. Okay, so the human body is relatively 8 heads tall. And so if you take the size of the human head and you stack it on top of each other 8 times, ultimately that is what a general man body shape and size will be. And it's, remember, mathematical balance for the most part. So I'm going to start over here by doing 8 of the same shapes, and this is the shape of a head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So on your paper, I would like you to do that because this is going to be the height of our person. And then from there, we're going to draw a line over, and that's going to be where the ground is for our person's structure. And then the very first line up here is going to be the top of our person's head. All right, and we're going to go ahead and get started. By in the center here, I'm going to make 1 head length, so the same circumference or size of this head over here. This is going to be our person. And then I'm going to draw a straight line so we can make sure and get them symmetrical, because the person should be balanced equally from one side to the other with symmetry. And then the next thing we're going to do is right in between the 1 and the 2 and all the way between the 3 and the 4, we're going to make this shape. And the human shoulders are roughly 1.5 heads. So if you take that and you half it again, that's going to give us our basic shoulder structure. And then all the way down to 3 and 4, we're going to mark it so we don't get lost. And then we're going to make this triangular shape. And this is going to be the torso of our person. We're going to connect it with another little dash, and then from I would say 4 to 5 is going to be kind of a another shape or form, and this is going to form the hips and the beginning of the thighs for our person. And then where the 6, and we can make a line across if we want to. So let's see, from 4 to 5, yes. So let's make a line across here, and then let's make another line across where the knees are going to be, which is going to be a little bit about right here. And this is so we don't get lost. And so we're going to go ahead and put our knees in as circles, like kneecaps. And then again at the bottom, we're going to go ahead and put our ankles in. So we are basically identifying all of our digits, our joints in our body that move. So we're going to go ahead and put in our shoulders, and ultimately shoulders and hips. In a man, the shoulders will be larger than the hips. In a woman, it will be pretty much balanced. but we're creating a person today, a guy, and so this is going to be where the top of the thigh meet the rest of the leg, and we basically have a structure already. The next thing is going to be the elbows. Now the elbows, you guys, come all the way down to the waist. Now that is one of the major mess ups in art, is people draw the arms way too short. Our arms and our legs are equally the same in length. Although it looks like our legs are much longer, our arms are almost about the same size, so it's kind of weird. And then our wrists are going to be down here. So I'm going to go ahead and start structurally to connect these. It's kind of like fill in the dots. And from here to here is going to be our thighs. And from here to here is our femur. And then our foot. Alright, and the foot can be representational of a triangle. And our hands, if you want to, can be representational of a triangle too. And then if you want to come across here with an X, it will show you where your torso and your stomach would be. Alright, so we've got that basically done. And so what I want to also show you is how to do this from the side. So we're going to, again, make our line here. We're going to make our line between 3 and 4, which is where our waist is going to be. Also between 4 and 5, so that is the top of the thigh. And then here, we're going to map in another one. And then the bottom. Okay, so from the side is the same but a little different. We're going to start with the head of the person, and you're going to see the head ties in a little bit different because the neck's got to kind of accommodate. And then we're going to have the shoulder, and then from there we can do the sideways rectangular shape. And then from there we're going to go down and put another rectangular shape for this is the torso, and this would be the hip and the mid lower area. And then we're going to have, this would be our top of our hip ball joint there, and then where our kneecap would be directly under 5 and 6. And you can look this up. You know, Leonardo da Vinci did Vesuvius Man, and if you haven't, or you're not familiar with that, I would encourage you to look that up, because he was one of the first people who said, hey, the human body is balanced mathematically, and I'm going to show you by drawing a person. And it is down to the millimeter as far as what people, how balanced we are. And each body is different a little bit, but we are all balanced within our own bodies perfectly. And I do believe that that is, you know, one of the ways that God made us perfect. There's nothing in nature or science that could replicate that. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and I just want to show you guys this. And if you wanted to add in some meat on this person, you could. And so from there, I'm going to show you one more time, very quickly, if I were to do this. Let's draw our guy over here. And just kind of watch, again, because I want you to be able to understand. And then I'm going to put some meat on this guy. It's going to be more of a finished, because some people are like, okay, so I see the stick figure, but let's turn it into a person. Alright, so again, I've got the digits at all the joints. I'm putting a circle. And now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to put the shape on. And this is really great, guys, if you are creating comic books or anime. Anime sometimes extends and makes the legs one head longer than normal people. That's just kind of because it looks cool, and it makes them look larger than life, which is true, they are, because they are altered a little bit, but it works for anime. So we are, however, keeping with the structure of the human anatomy today. So we want to make sure that our legs are the same length and distance as our arms. And we're just kind of going in here and working. And you guys, this applies also to women. So don't feel like this is just a man thing. I just chose to create the male form because it is, represented as well. Okay, so there we go. And so I hope that you guys enjoy this exercise. You know, in art sometimes you get something that just really sticks with you. I do believe this is one of those things because if you learn how to create this properly, you can perfect the human form in art. And let's face it, that's a big deal. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for watching Art Starters.